What you need to know about reality as a highly sensitive person. I'm gonna take off my glasses because it's a glare on there, and yeah, I want y'all to be able to see my eyes so y'all know I'm not a robot. Anyways, my name is Laurel. I just got an ancient soul, and I'm very connected to universal intelligence. So I understand these different stages of awareness, which is I'm gonna talk about the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D dimensional consciousness, and why it's important for you to anchor your own awareness of reality, or what you see as your first reality, in the 5D, right? The fifth dimensional awareness of consciousness, rather than staying within the third dimensional awareness of consciousness. My whole central thesis with what I teach is to help sensitive people stop letting their outside world control their inner state of being, control their innerverse, right? Control their own inner peace. Stop letting the outside world control your mind. And the only way to do that is to start seeing the world differently, to start seeing the world from a higher perspective. Most people obviously down here within a 3D reality. That's where I was at just this morning. Every day I wake up, I be in the third dimensional state of reality, and I got to remind myself again to view life from the lens of the 5D. It's very important that we do that so we can gain back control over our minds, right? Because if not, we're going to be stuck in a state of illusion, and the state of illusion is the state of suffering, all right? And we don't want to be living in the state of suffering and not knowing what we are, who we are, and the power that we actually have over this reality that we currently in, the power that we have over the 3D. We are spiritual beings living a humanistic, or whatever you want to say it, right? I don't know. I can't say the word. Living a human experience, right? But when we stuck down here, right, at the bottom of this mountain, you just stuck within the state of illusion. You can't see more of what's actually going on here. You just stuck down here. You're going through your own day to day. The 5D view is like this guy right here that's sitting on the top of this mountain, and they're able to see everything. They're able to see down here at the people that are stuck within the 3D reality. And this is where we want to be. This is the seat of which we want to view the world from. And this is the fifth dimensional point of view. Right, so we want to raise our perspective. Our perspective is the mental lens in which we view the world from. So we want to have a 5D consciousness perspective. The reason why this is and why we want this is so we're not getting too caught up in the illusion, right? When we caught up in the illusion, that just causes suffering. It causes separation. It causes us to be lost. It causes us to be in so much fear of what's going on, fear of death, because we don't want to die. Because we feel like death is it, that's the end, and we don't understand that we spiritual beings, and the only thing that die is the flesh. And it's really the soul that thinks that, right? And, you know, like I said, this happens because you've forgotten what you really are. So we become lost and afraid. But it's not really us, right? Because we are spiritual beings, but all of the realms exist at the same time. So even though we're spiritual beings, at the same time, we are our soul. At the same time, we are consciousness. At the same time, we are this body, right? And when we able to break that all down and understand what's actually going on here, the more we can get back to truth, the more we won't be as lost and as unaware of what's going on within this reality. That way we have a better control over what's going on. Operating from the state of truth and remembrance is the best thing you could possibly do if you want to be a victim anymore, right? If you want to be able to, you just want to have more control and power over your current reality. This is what I teach, and this is what everything that I talk about and explain and dive into more, because I'm within this. It's not like I'm over this. I'm still within this, and every day I'm still learning more too. But I want to bring to you everything that I know and everything that I have been able to pull from universal intelligence. These birds going crazy outside right now. So yeah, this is for my highly sensitive people, because it's like y'all are on that brink of enlightenment. We came here when we were already on that brink of becoming more enlightened. The reason why you have more empathy, the reason why you are an empath, the reason why you are more sensitive to emotions and thoughts and the unseen world is because you're on those stages of remembrance, right? You remember. That's the reason why you're able to put yourself in other people's shoes and have empathy for people, even people that you shouldn't technically be having empathy for, and getting lost and, caught up with, dealing with narcissists and stuff like that, is because you remember who we are past all of this, what we see. Like your soul, we're already remembered. You already have more of a older soul, right? Which means your soul has been probably awakened in previous forms, in previous lives. Your spirit is here to continue to help your soul evolve. So it's really not you, it's your soul that can get caught up within being afraid of death, being caught up in the illusions. It's your soul. Your soul chooses to forget, and your spirit is here to help guide your soul to awakening again. And basically, what you're doing is when you help your soul awaken, you essentially letting your spirit reunite within your reality. That way, it can guide the way. You want to let your spirit come here into form and guide the way for your soul. Like, let your soul take a back seat, right? Let your spirit come forward and basically hold your spirit's hand. You are your spirit, so let your soul hold your hand as you come back into remembrance to yourself, and as you continue to align with your spirit through meditation, through bringing yourself back to 5D consciousness. Every time you bring your 4D back to the 5D, because the 4D is just the energetic bridge. I'm explaining that too. You basically reuniting back with your spirit. You're reuniting back with truth. It gets to a certain point where once you know, you can't forget, but you still can get lost in this illusion every day you wake up. Every day you wake up in the morning, you can still get lost within it. So anytime that you find yourself getting lost within this third dimensional form of reality, this stage of awareness, your awareness is down here at the bottom of the mountain, all right? It's basically you operating from the perspective of your soul. Your soul is an actual real entity. It's a living entity. It's your human form. It's your identity. And it is at a lower stage of awareness, which is why it's important for you to reunite with your spirit and reunite with truth. All right. That way you can help your soul to not be so stuck with, in a state of suffering as well. You're literally helping your soul evolve by having to take a back seat and letting your spirit lead the way out of suffering, lead the way out of hell. Hell is a mind state. Hell is a mind frame of thinking, right? It's by believing that the illusion is truth. And that brings us to now explaining what the fourth dimension is. Now, technically, this is just the mind, right? It's your innerverse, right? It's your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your imagination, your perception, who you believe yourself to be, right? The story that you hold. But it's not even so much a story that you hold, because you can get rid of that, right? You can get rid of the story. You can get rid of the identity you've been holding on to so much. The mind is a medium. Thought is the medium of the mind. Thought actually creates the electromagnetic field that is around you, right? And your mind, the stage of awareness your mind is on, will generate thoughts out of that specific level of consciousness. You'll know if you in a more of a third dimensional mind frame, because the thoughts that you're going to be thinking are going to be within the realms of illusion. The higher frequency entities that are around us, they can tell what's going on by the electromagnetic field that we are emitting from our consciousness. We are on the third dimension, right? This is us, right? This is the physical realm, obviously, that we live within right now. I don't need to explain that. The fourth dimension, that is the mind, that is the energetic bridge, that is your thoughts, that is the quantum field, that is what I was just explaining before. And then we have the fifth dimension, right? This is what the spiritual realm, right? This is the realm of all possibilities. This is the limitless realm. This is the realm that created the third dimension. So everything that happened within this third dimension, it was all made possible out of the fifth dimension. The third dimension has limitations and boundaries. The fifth dimension has no limitations. And this is the realm of truth. So through your current state of consciousness, you're going to be generating certain thoughts out of there, right? Your different states of consciousness is like you being able to switch a channel. So if you're coming from a lower state of thinking, right? Anger, apathy, grief, those lower states of thinking, you basically astral travel to that specific state of consciousness. So now you're going to be generating thoughts out of that specific frequency. When you in a state of love, you now basically astral travel to that specific frequency, to that specific channel. So imagine fear is like 98.1 on the radio, right? You're going to be thinking thoughts and emitting an electromagnetic field based on those thoughts, right? That's the state of consciousness you are in. Then say something happened and it gets switched to 104.7. That is the current state of consciousness, or the frequency that your consciousness is in. So now you're going to be emitting thoughts in your electromagnetic field based on that new channel that you're in. And that is astral traveling, essentially. We exist on multiple different dimensions at once. So it's important for you not to continue to get too lost in the third dimension, because you literally experience the other dimensions at the same time that you here. Like, they all exist at the same time. The fact that you're able to think thoughts, right, lets you know that you exist within the fourth dimension as well. You utilize the 4D every day. You're not just here within the 3D, the third dimension. The thing about the physical reality in this illusion is that it's so strong. It's so strong in getting you believe that this is all that there is. That's why it's important. Like, you got to really have a strong mind to remember that this is the illusion. And that's how you got out of suffering, though. So you got to ask yourself, in your 4D, in your mind, basically, what is more real, the 3D or the 5D? Do you find yourself residing too much in the 3D, or are you somebody that already finds yourself being in the 5D? If you do, you're good. This video is just confirmation for you, basically, which is good to have as well. Like, it's good to continue to see these things and to hold these within your mind frame, because the more you see it and be within it, right, the more it strengthens your ability to stay within this stage of awareness, this stage of consciousness. Let's get into some wordplay, Yeah, I used to be a rapper too. I used to want to be a music artist, so let's get into some wordplay real quick. Even though I wasn't that type of music artist. As we know, words are magic, spells, language, right? It's magic. So reality, the root word is real, all right? Then we got the suffix, which is iti, all right? Real breaks down to realis, which is a thing or matter. Then we have iti. The Latin word of that is etas. I'm pretty sure etas is how you say that, right? I mean, yeah. Which equals denoting a state, condition, or quality. So when you look up the actual meaning of reality, it simply tells you that it is an individual observer's own subjective perception of that which is real, the state of being actual or real. The way I like to simplify that is that it is the state of a thing. The state of a thing. Now, like we see, it could be thing or matter, but we're not dealing with matter here. State, when you break that down, that is to stand infirm of. So this is basically to stand infirm of a thing, to stand infirm of the 3D, or to stand infirm of the 5D. It's like, where are you anchoring yourself into? Which concepts are you anchoring your mind into? Right? Pretty much your beliefs. So your reality is whatever you choose it to be. It's whatever you anchoring your consciousness into. That becomes your reality. However, we know the reality that most people know is what we see, is what we experience within this physical realm. And I don't want to say that this is not a reality. It is a reality. The physical realm is like the lowest form of our reality, basically. I just want to remind you, and this whole video is to break down, it is a false reality compared to what's actual true, where we actually come from. We want to remember where we come from. That way we have more control over this reality. This is the view we want to have. In order to have this kind of view, right, we need to be able to shift what we believe is real, right? This is our first reality, is the 5D consciousness. This is our second reality. Everything you see right here, right now, this is not the first reality. This is the second reality. This is the game that we chose to come and play. So we want to change our mind's perception on reality. That's what we want to do in terms of stop letting the outside world control our inner state of being. We want our inner state of being, our inner world, to be anchored within the concepts of the 5D. That way we have a more peaceful, more stable inner world that's getting out of the state of suffering and back into the state of truth. When we do this, we can actually start to live our life freely, because you're not in fear so much. You're not being caught up in these lower frequency states of being, these states of mind. I want to ask the question again. In your 4D, which is more real, right, is the 3D, which is the false reality, or the 5D, which is the truth? Now, obviously, the 3D is real, though. It is real to our human self. It is very real to our soul. But to our spirit, this is a false reality. We are not our soul. We are our spirit. But we are our soul at the same time right now. But where we come from is our spirit. We want to remember where we come from. We want to remember home. That way we have a better experience here within our third dimensional reality. We are here to play the game, and we can play the game better when we're able to understand the mechanisms. When we're able to understand the back end of how the game is actually made, we can start to actually shift and adjust the game to work in a way that is better for us. This is how you hack the game of reality, basically. So the actual meaning of illusion, when you look it up, it is a false idea, a misleading visual representation, or a belief that is not in accordance with reality. Literally translated, it means mockery or something playing tricks on you. So this third dimensional reality is playing tricks on you. It's playing tricks on your spirit and your higher levels of actual awareness. But it is real. It's here. It's a game. It has laws. It has boundaries, right? You can't go fly. There are laws of nature that will destroy this planet or destroy nature if you don't act in accordance with it. Even though this place is an illusion, it is still real in the terms of the realm that it is. But where we come from higher realms. We come from higher states of being. This is what it means to become an evolved or enlightened being while you're here still. All right. When you break down delusion, it is a false, fixed, or erroneous belief that persists despite strong evidence to the contrary. From the teachings that we talking about here is that if you only believe that this third dimension, that everything that you see around you is it, you are in a state of delusion. If you are neglecting the idea that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, you are in a state of delusion. So real quick, I'm gonna break down to you why, or this concept that the third dimensional reality is not something that you should be trying to anchor your 4D in, right? Your mind in, what you believe is actually real, the first real, right? And that it should be your second reality. This is a 5D, right? It controls the 3D. That is your first reality. And then this is the 4D, right? This is the energetic bridge, right? The 4D acts different than the 3D and the 5D. Now, the 4D travels through all infinite space, basically. It's just thought, it is mind, it's mind power. This is your first reality. So first reality, second reality, and then we got the 4D, right? This is the energetic bridge. This is basically your consciousness. That says consciousness, all right? All right, so this is it's the energetic cord. It's the tether, right, between the different dimensions. That's all the 4D is. The 5D created the 3D. The only reason why the 3D is here is because the 5D is here, the spiritual world, the world of energy, frequencies, and vibrations that actually are used to create the different forms of matter that exist within a third dimensional realm. However, this realm is real still. Like, I don't want to completely neglect this realm, but just to remember that this is where you come from, that this is truth. It's a lot of illusions within this 3D reality that will put you in a state of suffering. We don't want to be in a state of suffering. We want to be in a state of truth while we still living within this 3-dimensional reality. That way you're not in fear of things. Fear is a state of illusion, right? This causes a lot of dis-ease within the body. That's all. Like, this causes a lot of dis-ease within the mind, the body. Let's get back. So let's get to the actual overarching giant in this situation, the 5th dimension, right? This is where we want to be. This is the realm of truth and all possibilities. So everything exists within the 5th dimension. Everything that is possible within this 3rd dimension exists. It comes from the 5th dimension. The thing is more limitations and boundaries within this 3rd dimension that don't exist within the 5th dimension. It is where energy is at, all energy. Even though energy exists within here too, everything is made out of energy. But when we come down here, right, we talk about how energy is put into different forms to create different forms of matter, right? So they all have different energetic makeups, but everything is energy. The 5th dimension just harbors higher frequencies of understanding. If we got the map of consciousness here, right, you will see that love, joy, peace, enlightenment. These are the spiritual paradigms. This is truth. The stages of awareness, right? Higher stages of awareness of what you actually are. Then we got the survival paradigm down here, right? This is the more 3rd dimensional ways of thinking, right? We got grief, we got apathy, we got guilt, we got shame and fear. All of these are states of illusion that will put your body, your mind in dis-ease, right? This will cause a dysregulated emotional state of being. Not to say that as soon as you remember who you are, that you will be in a spiritual paradigm, right? No, that's not to say that you're still gonna be, we here to experience what it's like to be a human. So within that case, you're gonna experience the whole brink of what it's like to be a human. So you're gonna still experience being in a survival paradigm. But as long as you have a higher state of awareness of what it is to be in a survival paradigm, the less you're going to be getting controlled and be in a state of suffering from it, the less you're going to be in a victim mentality, because you got a higher perspective. Even though you within it, you can still see above it. And that's all you want to do. we're not so being controlled by the outside world. We want to be able to have a better control over our reality while we're here and stop getting so affected by everything that's going on within this third dimensional reality. That is what it's like to be an empath or a highly sensitive person, right? We get so controlled over just our outside world and the emotions that play. Yeah, that's what we struggle with the most. And when you can understand this concept, when you can bring yourself back to truth, you basically overcome all of that. What are the concepts of being in a fifth dimension, right? Is understanding and remembering that you are immortal, remembering that you are abundance, because the fifth dimension is you are already. So you are everything. You don't lack anything when you're in the fifth dimension. You are already everything, because everything that exists within this third dimensional reality had to come from the fifth dimension. In the fifth dimension, there is no separation of anything. There is no having to work or do to have any state of being, to being in any state of consciousness, awareness, or being. You are already these things. You are already abundance. You are already in peace, safety, love, compassion, joy, right? These are things that you can be in a state of, as long as you hold them in your thoughts and your mind and you remember that you are these things, you are now those within your inner world. So this is what it's like. Your outer world, you have to do things to achieve. Your inner world, you can be whatever it is that you want to be right now. You can be these things just by holding these concepts in your mind, reminding yourself of love, reminding yourself that you are safe by not being in a fearful mind state, by remembering that you are not this body, right? You are our spiritual being. This all will bring you back to a state of more peace, because you are less affected by your outside world, because you understand where you come from. You understand that this is a game. You understand that everything you see around you, everything you experience is an illusion, but it's real. It's all part of the game. And it's a game that you came here to play. And it's a game that if you understand these concepts and you able to vibrate on the level of awareness of 5D consciousness, the better you're going to be able to control this game, and unless this game will control you. But if you continuously be in a state of illusion, if you continuously neglect and choose to forget who you are, the more you will be living in a state of suffering and victimhood. I'm going to bring it back to this question. I'm going to end off on this. In your mind, in your 4D, in here, this is what you control. You don't control the outside world. This is what you control. This is your innerverse, your inner world, your inner universe. The only thing you can control is your own universe of what you hold and what you believe, what you see as reality. This is where your perspective comes from. This is where how you gain a 5D perspective or a 3D perspective. In your 4D, what is more real? What are you anchoring yourself into? What are you anchoring your concept of reality and where you truly come from into? Are you choosing to see with these eyes first, or are you choosing to see with your first, aka your third eye first? Stop anchoring into the 3D, which is the false reality, and anchor your conscious awareness into the 5D, which is not allowing the program to run you, which is not allowing lower frequencies of lack, anger, fear, separation run you. Now, obviously, when we wake up in the morning, obviously, as we're going through our day, that is what will persist. But as long as you can remember that even though I might be in this state of being, this state of mind frame at that whatever particular time, I know more. I know the truth. And whenever you meditate, whenever you bring the ideas of truth into your mind, into your 4D, you are vibrating on the fifth dimensional waveforms of consciousness. That is all this is for. If you got something out of this video, leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.